Young Voices, bringing you the best in independent analysis from next-generation thinkers, journalists, and academics.
All right, let's take some questions from our viewers. Our first question comes from Renee Ward, who would like to know, if we build the wall, won't the traffickers just build a ladder or something to bypass the wall? How do we prevent the immigrants from bypassing the wall?
Sure. And this is really a common misconception out there that, again, that a wall by itself is any type of solution. Where we have the most robust infrastructure, say, for example, outside of San Diego, where we have triple layer fencing, lighting, patrol roads in the middle, very significant obstacles, we still face attempts to circumvent that fence. The people who are involved in human smuggling and narcotic smuggling are fairly ingenious, and they have done everything from build very sophisticated tunnels under the fence. They've done things like pneumatic air cannons, firing big coffee cans full of drugs over the fence. They've used ultralight vehicles and drones to drop things over the fence. And they've tried to cut the fence a number of times. If you take a drive along that same section outside of San Diego, you'll see all of the cut attempts and the repairs that constantly have to be made to the fence there. And that would be true for any section of fence along the border. It is a barrier that buys you time. It does not actually stop people by itself. It gives your response resources time to detect and then apprehend or deter that person from crossing. But if left unguarded, for those who watch Game of Thrones, the wall in itself is a barrier, but without the Night's Watch on top, it's still able to be circumvented. You either can climb over it or go underneath it or go around it. So it's one piece or one tool in the toolkit, one quiver, one arrow in the quiver, but by itself, your viewer's right. It's not a solution. It could be circumvented given enough time and resources if you're unable to enforce with your people adequately and your technology.
Okay, Professor Massey, Sean Day would like to know, how would you suggest we deal with the southern border?
Well, I think the southern border is pretty much dealt with. It's probably the most secure border anywhere in the world. It's certainly one of the most militarized. We spend $4 billion a year in border enforcement. The number of apprehensions is really at a 40 or 50-year low. The traffic across the border is minimal at this point. I think we've done about all we can, and more people are now coming in on regular visas and not across the border. So in the undocumented population, the proportion of people who are what are called visa abusers is rising. And further investments in the southern border is not going to get us much additional security and not going to do very much to prevent additional undocumented migration. We've already got more than enough on that border, and we should focus our efforts internally with, I think, a verifiable employment system where everybody has to give a number, or everybody's given a card with a magnetic strip that an employer can simply read into a computer to see and get an authorization code back. The technology would be very easy to do.